Oh, so they must hate you in St. Louis, right? You wear your Cubs blue to the Cardinals? Oh, I like... Do, all right. Anyone that can be a Cub fan in St. Louis, we like. That's Debbie. Give Debbie a hand. Your name, sir?
Ken.
Ken, where are you from?
Oak Lawn.
And what do you do?
I'm retired. I cook.
Oh, retired cook. He's cocky, Debbie. Ken is cocky. All right. Congratulations. We have Debbie, Ken, and Sue. And where are you from, Sue? And what do you do in Tinley Park? Eye doctor. My brother's an eye doctor. He is. All he does all day long is this. A or B. A or B. Would you like your daughter to do this for you? Is she here? She's shaking her head. You can designate someone to do it for you. She's a surgeon, not a cook. To be. All right. So we have Sue, Ken, and Debbie. Here's what we're going to do, Sue, Ken, and Debbie. We are going to make a recipe I learned in Mexico. It's guacamole. Okay? You each have the exact same setups. First of all, while I'm doing this, sanitize the crap out of your hands because people are going to be eating this food. We want to make sure it's all clean. Do that and pass that down. Clean them very well. You have napkins and sterilized utensils. All right. Everyone has 3 ripe avocados, a tomato, a red onion, a jalapeno pepper, a couple of limes that we use at the end, and we have garlic. We have extra materials here if you want to use them. We also have salt and pepper. We have olive oil. We have fresh ground pepper, and we have Tabasco and capers. Now, I'm going to tell you the recipe, but the trick to this game is that you each are going to make your own style. Some of you can cube up your avocado. Some of you can mash it all up. You can put a lot of tomato in, a lot of onion in, a little, doesn't matter. You make it so that you like it. When you're done, everyone in the audience is going to file by. You're each going to taste all 3 guacamoles, and you're going to vote. I'll explain that in a second. Whoever gets the most votes wins the trip. Very simple. Okay? So, the difference of the guacamole in the Yucatan is they use shrimp because they're on the Caribbean, so their seafood is very plentiful, and they chop up shrimp and use that in their guacamole. You don't have to use the shrimp if you don't want to. You can do whatever you want again, but you're competing against each other. These other 2 will be garbage, and that'll be the shrimp one. So you'll share those shrimp, chop them up, put them in whole, doesn't matter. Presentation matters a little bit. Mostly it's going to be the taste. All right, I'm going to give you the basic recipe, and then I'm going to tell you to start, and then we'll go. The first thing you want to do is you want to take your shrimps, put them in your bowl, chop them up a little bit, add some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar and some spices. Let it marinate a little bit. And then once you're starting that, you put that off to the side. You take out your avocados, you take out the pits, you put the meat in there. Then you dice your garlic, your tomato, and your onion, and your jalapeno if you want to use that. You also have Italian parsley that you can put in there. And you put those in the amounts and the order and the strength that you think is best. Then you mix it all up together any way you want, and then we will serve it to our hungry audience. Sound fair? Everybody understand? Okay? The one rule that we have is that if you cut yourself in any way, shape, or form, you're disqualified because I don't think you people want to be eating bloody guacamole. It's got to be safe and clean. All right? So go to it. Start working on it. And as you're doing that, how many people remember my Travel Channel show, Taste of America? I got to travel to 500 different cities, and I found a lot of different recipes and met a lot of interesting people. And one thing I learned is that normally recipes come from a certain place for a certain reason. For example, this guacamole is made in this fashion because the people in the Yucatan have easy access to all of these ingredients. They have citrus, they have avocado, they have seafood. They just don't have easy access to olive oil. It's twisting, but it's not coming up. Little plastic in the olive oil. Okay. Chicago, the best recipes in Chicago are for the exact same reason. We used to be the stockyards to the world. That's why you can always get a great steak here in Chicago. We have a lot of Italian immigrants here. That's why you can always get a great pizza here. A lot of Polish people. That's why you can get great kielbasa. We have a lot of Irish people. But seriously, who wants to eat Irish food? Nobody. Nobody wants to eat Irish food. Especially if you're going to be cramped up in a car for a long road trip. That is not where you want to be, gassed up from the cabbage. During the show, we were, like I said, I've been in over 500 different cities in America. I ate a lot of really delicious food and also some really nasty food. Anyone ever been to Alaska? There's a thing in Alaska called fish ice cream. Do you ever have that? It's lard, sugar, and raw tuna mixed together, and they call it ice cream. It tastes like whale snot. It's horrible. Another thing I had to eat at one point was Rocky Mountain oysters in Denver. You folks know what Rocky Mountain oysters are? What are they, sir? Testicles, he says with a smile. Yes, because they're not yours. They're bull testicles, and they deep fry them and batter them, and they taste kind of like alligator. They don't taste horrible, but my question is, how hungry do you have to be to think of eating those for the first time? Who was the cowboy, and how hungry was he when he came up with that idea? Oh, let's pull those off and eat them. So you're very lucky. I think you live in, if not the best food city, I think New Orleans is a great food city. You can get good meals in New York and San Francisco. But Chicago is certainly at the very top of the food scale. Any kind of food you can get that's good anywhere in America is available here in Chicago. Obviously today, we're focused on the Italian food because that is the best food, using the freshest ingredients. We have fresh ingredients here today. Let's check in. What's going on, Deb?
Let's just cut up the onion. Garlic.
You got your garlic in there, you got your avocado. Oh, you're getting fancy. You got all the separate, you're slicing your tomatoes instead of cubing them, very good. Do you have a certain plan? Yeah, you're making your home recipe. How's it coming? Good, yeah, scoop all that meat. You want to make as much of the recipe as you can, folks, because we have a lot of people here that are going to want to taste it. You can make it smooth, you can make it creamy, you can make it lumpy, whatever you'd like. Everybody has condiments, right? Okay. I was on Steve Cochran's show on Friday talking about food. Everybody happy that Steve Cochran is coming back to WGN Radio? I know I am. He's a very funny man. I'm also doing a new show called This Versus That. It's like a comedy science show. Myself and a couple guys from Whose Line Is It Anyway? We're three comedians, and we discover and we extrapolate things that happen in science for comedy. And I have some t-shirts from our show, This Versus That. Would anyone like a t-shirt from This Versus That? I'm going to give one to Anthony for sure. There you go, Anthony. Science is good, so is math. Good catch.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Anthony. Now I have some Italian trivia questions. If you get the question right, I will give you a t-shirt. Who knows where the name Italy comes from? Who knows where the name Italy comes from? Florida. No, it does not come from Florida. Anybody? Raise your hand if you think you know. Came from the Greeks. The Greeks named the area that we know as Italy, back in 800 BC. It comes from the Greek word italos, which means calf. So there must have been a lot of goats and calves in the area. What are the first words uttered on screen in Godfather 1? Not kill him, no. The first words uttered on screen in Godfather 1. I believe in America. I believe in America. Europe has only 3 active volcanoes, and they're all in Italy. Who can name one? What was that? Mount Vesuvius. Would you like a t-shirt, sir? This versus that. There you go, sure. Enjoy. Mount Etna is another one. Absolutely, sir. And the third one? Third one is Stromboli, which I thought was very funny. Stromboli. There you go. You can go to thisversusthatshow.com if you want to check out the show. I'm also on Windy City Live here in Chicago, and you know our show is moving in September from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., so please follow us to our 11 a.m. time slot. You're using a lot of the parsley there, Deb. How's it going? We didn't want to make the knives too sharp because then people bleed. So you've got some onion, some jalapeno, shrimp. Did you put all of your 3 avocados in there? Okay. All right, so now it's a matter of mushing it up. The last thing you do, when you're all done, is you cut open that lime and you squeeze a little lime on top, and that really pops the flavor, brings everything out. We have balsamic vinaigrette. I like to use that with the shrimp. All right, we're getting close here. Tom, how's it going? I like it. Feeling confident? Well, Sue, you look so much better than the last time I was here. You're doing well. All right. Let me explain to you folks how we are going to vote. Okay? We have Hershey's Kisses. Everyone, I'm going to put out bowls of chips here. We're going to start this line and we're going to move this way. You're going to take a chip. You're going to taste Sue's guacamole. Think about it. Then you're going to take a new chip, no double dipping. You're going to taste Tom's. Then you're going to take a new chip and you'll taste Debbie's. Then when you think whoever's guacamole you like the best, you'll take your one and only one Hershey's Kiss. You'll drop it in their cup. Then when they're done, we'll count who has the most and they'll be the winner. All right? Does anybody have any food questions while we're wrapping up? I know a lot of weird food trivia. A lot of I could answer Italian trivia questions because I've been reading the answers. Anybody? All right, we're going to get the... oh, yes, ma'am. Can you use spoiled milk to make pancakes? I mean, you could do whatever you want. If you want to get sick and lose 5 or 6 pounds, yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. No, buttermilk is different because it's pasteurized. Spoiled milk is just nasty milk. If it's out of date, you know what? Use your nose. If it smells rancid, don't use it. But if it's spoiled, don't use it. If it's just past the due date, that's fine. Because they fudge that a little bit. But I wouldn't eat spoiled pancake. That's like, can you eat roadkill? Yeah, you can. I don't know that you'd want to, but you could. And don't forget, folks, here on the Rosebud stage, we have entertainment all day long. We got a new band coming up as soon as we're done here. We got about 2 minutes, gang. Salt and pepper's here. Do you have it? It's looking good. Sue, I know you were very nervous about participating, thinking that your soon-to-be surgeon daughter would do a good job, but I think you put it yourself quite well. All right. It was there. This goes over here. All right, about a minute. Let's wrap it up. Sue's guacamole. Oh, look at that. You're garnishing it. I like that. Tom, how you feeling? Ken, I'm sorry. Did I call you Tom before? I'm stupid. You're Cocky Ken. And now I know why. That looks pretty good. All right. And Debbie? No, can't talk to Debbie while she's cooking. It's interesting. They all use the exact same ingredients, yet each one of these looks very, very different. That's because They put them in different amounts. All right. Now I'm going to ask you to clean off your plate and present your guacamole as best you can next to your chips there. And we're going to form a single file line right here behind me. Anyone that wants to taste the guacamole, come on up here, we can try it. It has shrimp in it, so if you have any kind of seafood